Hi Libra, welcome back to the Astrology 33 channel. This is your November 2025 tarot reading. Thank you to those of you who have liked, viewed, shared, and subscribed to the channel. I appreciate all of that. For those of you new to the channel, as far as what we have in front of us, it's a Celtic Cross spread as always, and also pulled the 4 agreements and Wisdom and Oracle card for you guys. But we're actually going to start the reading off by rolling those astrology dice we have in front of us to get an idea of where your focus should be as far as that goes. Alright, we have Jupiter. And Jupiter is in Cancer, which is your 10th house of career and social status, and it actually will start a retrograde on the 11th of November. So you could definitely be reevaluating things as far as that area of life. Speaking of which, we also have 10th house coming up with this day as well. So yeah, it looks like definitely going to be some focus on our area of life for you guys. And then we have Taurus. So Taurus for you guys is your 8th house of death, rebirth, intimacy, and investments. And we're actually going to have Uranus return into Taurus on the 7th of November. And there's also going to be a full moon in Taurus a couple days before that. So quite a bit of energy going on there as well. So yeah, looks like 8th house, 10th house themes for sure for you guys this month. But we'll keep all that in mind as we go through the main spread. All right. In the main situation position, we have the Ace of Wands, and then challenging that, we have the King of Wands. So this is Leo energy here. And to see the Ace here, I feel like this is saying you might be feeling called to a new path. And the challenge with that is the path you're currently on, it looks like you've gotten pretty far along on that path, right? So could just be saying that that could be why it could be hard to leave that behind, right? So just a super generic example, let's say all of a sudden you want to change career paths, right? Like, oh, all of a sudden I feel called to do this thing. And the career path you've been on for years, right? You might have achieved a pretty decent level of success with that, but it could be something that's in a totally different field than the new thing that you feel called to. You see, like, okay, yeah, I might really feel this urge to do this thing, but is it practical given that, I've put in so much work toward this other path to this point? In the foundation position, we have the Four of Cups. So Cancerian energy here, which we also saw with Jupiter and 10th house coming up with the dice. But yeah, could just be saying that, yeah, maybe it comes down to success or not. You just might not feel as fulfilled on that path as you once did, right? So it could just be one of those things where, like, okay, yeah, practically I get that this is a good path for me to be on, but I feel like there's something more that I'm missing out on, right? So that could be what you guys are grappling with currently. All right, in the past position, we have the Two of Cups. So more Cancerian energy here. So yeah, it could just be saying, well, the difficulty might be in the past. It did resonate with you, right? It did feel like a good match. You did feel emotional fulfillment with it, right? So, I will say for the majority of you, this seems like more of a career thing. Obviously, the dice helped point to that being more career financial as well. But even let's say it's more of a romantic relationship, right? Given that that's what this artwork can call to sometimes. It could just be saying that maybe this is someone that you felt highly compatible with for a long time, right? Things were going well, and now you're like, it feels like we're kind of branching apart, So again, I don't feel like it's really a one-to-one relationship for the majority of you in this case, but that's just a practical example of how these energies can be playing out for you. In the present position, we have the Hangman. So this is Piscean energy here for me usually, and there's plenty of energy going on there as well. I mean, we've had the North Node there for a while. Neptune's actually going to be returning into Pisces in a couple days, and that's the planet that rules Pisces. So, and of course you got Saturn there, and for you guys, that's your 6th house of work, health, daily routines, right? So you had another indicator that for at least most of you, this is more of a work financial thing. But yeah, to me, this looks like this is saying you're not quite ready to act on it yet, right? You could be just really trying to figure out where this is all coming from, right? Because, like I said, this new path you might want to go down might have come out of the blue, right? So, like, what is this trying to teach me, right? What am I supposed to be learning from the situation? So, it doesn't look like you're ready to make an actual move at this point, but definitely looks like you're trying to figure out what all of it means. In the near future position, we have the Six of Wands. So more Leo energy here. And yeah, this could just point to recognition, right? Possibly public recognition, appreciation. So again, like I said, maybe these are part of the things that would make it hard for you to walk away from the path you've been on, right? Because there's the success is there, right? Maybe the recognition is there. But for whatever reason, you just might feel a little bit detached from it on a more emotional level to where you're like, yeah, I get it, right? I should be happy with these things, but, feel like there's more out there. In the position of your influence in the situation, we have temperance. So yeah, so this could just be saying that ultimately, well, this is Sagittarius energy for one. So maybe as we move closer to Sagittarius season and we have more energy moving through that sign, you'll be feeling this energy a little more. But I will say with this, it seems like you could be trying to strike that balance, right? So like we said, with the emotions, with the cup energy down there, we see 1 foot in the water, 1 foot on the ground, right? So you could be trying to figure out how you could balance those two things, right? We're like, okay, yeah, maybe so. For example, maybe it's hard to step away from that King of Wands path because it's financially lucrative, right? So you're like, well, okay, yeah, the practicality of it all makes a lot of sense. So hard to walk away from that, but it'd be nice to have more of an emotional connection to what I'm doing, right? So you could be trying to figure out if there's a way to balance those two things out without having to walk away from one path completely. So that could be what you guys be looking at, and it does line up as well with the Sagittarius energy we're seeing here because we're going to have Mercury retrograde starting in Sagittarius, which is your third house of communication. Eventually, it'll backtrack into Scorpio, which is your house of finances. So it seems like we can escape the financial theme through most of these scenarios. But yeah, so it makes sense that you could be reevaluating things from that lens as well. In the environment position, we have the Nine of Wands. So Sagittarius energy here as well. And what I'm getting with this, I mean, when we put it back in the spread, it's looking right at that Six of Wands, right? So even for some of you, that could be part of it too, right? Where you might feel like you'd be letting people around you down, right? If you did decide to pursue this new path. So, let's just say you're a family, right? I mean, yeah, let's say you have a family and you're the main breadwinner, right? And you're like, well, I want to pursue this, you know, new path that might be more fulfilling for me on an emotional level, but I won't have the financial security, right? The financial certainty if I go that route. So I can't really do that, right? Because I have my family that I got to look out for, this, that, and the other, right? For others of you, this could just be saying if you're in the public eye in some way, right? Maybe you want to step away from that for a bit, but you're like, how do I break the news to them that I need to step away, right? So these could be the things that you're grappling with this month. All right. In the hopes or fears position, we have the Two of Wands. So yeah, so I feel like this is saying that ultimately you really do want to get out and explore, though, right? So maybe just where you're at now just seems to be a bit stagnant, Now, and that could be why it's tricky for you, right? Because it's like, well, externally it might not look stagnant, right? For anyone on the outside looking in, it looks like, yeah, business as usual, right? You're still um, being recognized, you're still getting the success, but internally it might feel stagnant, right? So we're like, okay, yeah, been there, done that, right? So you can just be, whereas for someone on the outside looking in who hasn't experienced it as often as you had, it might seem like, wow, that's a great thing, but for you, it could have grown a bit stale, right? But you might feel almost guilty for feeling that way because you're like, well, so many people would love to be where I am, right? So, but either ways, it feels like you're still going to feel that pull toward the new thing. All right. And in the outcome position, we have the Three of Swords. So yeah, so it could just be saying that ultimately, at least for this month, you might not find that way to bridge those energies, right? Where, like I said, it looks like for some of you, you're trying to straddle both sides of the fence there. We're like, okay, you know, yeah, I love the practicality of this path that I've been on, but the call of the adventure excitement of this new path is really pulling toward me. Is there a way that I could find that middle ground, right? So this is just saying, at least for now, you might not find it. There could be some disappointment around that. Doesn't mean you have to abandon the idea altogether, but again, especially given that we mentioned the Mercury retrograde energy going on and everything, so maybe a month from now might smooth out a little bit. But yeah, it looks like you're just going to be feeling a little bit frustrated that you can't find that happy medium. Bottom of the deck, we have the Ace of Swords. So, I mean, at least this could be indicative that for some of you, you might still have that epiphany. Now, I would say, given what we were talking about with the Sagittarius energy and what that represents in your chart, if not immediately, it might be more so when we get to that new moon in Sagittarius, which would be, you know, around mid December. So, especially because by then you have the Mercury retrograde post shadow period wrapping up and everything. And so it might take you a little bit longer than this month to get that clarity, but it looks like it's still incoming anyway. All right, from the Four Agreements deck, we have Don't Make Assumptions, and it says Eliminate Gossip. All right, it says making assumptions is a setup for suffering because usually we gossip about our assumptions. We make assumptions and believe we are right, then we defend our assumptions and try to make others wrong. Interesting message here. I mean, I don't really see any energy pointing to that in the main spread, although, like you said, hey, given that the Mercury retrograde is going to be starting in your house of communication, definitely something at least keep in mind. And from the Wisdom Oracle, we have Unfinished Symphony. There's the artwork, and the number is 10. We'll see what this has to say. All right, essential meanings says unfinished business, an incomplete lesson, lack of closure, the need to make amends. The Oracle's message: this is a time to tie up loose ends as you near the completion of a cycle or project and mastery of a lesson or skill. Before you can move forward, it's important that you come to terms with where you are now. Practice radical acceptance. Take inventory so that emotional and psychological closure can occur and the answers you seek will be found. You can't move forward if you are leaving things unfinished. Reflect on what has passed so that the symphony can finally end on a high note. So interesting message there, because that could just be saying that maybe there is a natural completion happening with this, right? And that's why the Ace of Wands is coming up, because this King of Wands cycle could be completing for you, and there could be a new pathway awaiting, but maybe you just don't feel quite ready for it yet. So definitely a different way of looking at that spread. The relationship message says moving on is difficult when love lingers, things are left unsaid, and you haven't had the opportunity for closure in your heart. In your heart. You can still feel bound up in relationships when closure is denied you. It's important to achieve this for yourself. Write that letter, make that call, or have that conversation over a cup of coffee. For peace of mind, accept matters as they are, make amends if need be, and declare your feelings, even if only to yourself. Be clear about what was left unresolved, and close the door on the past so you can set yourself free. Only then can new love blossom. So, I mean, that kind of puts a little bit of a spin on the Four of Cups energy that we see in the foundation position, right? Because maybe that's been a bit of a blockage for you guys if you haven't had closure around the past situation. So if that's the case, hopefully that message resonated. And then the prosperity message says, make sure you complete projects now before starting new ones. Perhaps you have created something special that will increase your sense of abundance and bring you opportunities for wealth. However, if you don't see it through, it won't add up to anything but more clutter. Now is the time to put your nose to the grindstone and complete the tasks that have accumulated. Pay your bills, sign the documents, do your filing, hand in an assignment, complete a work of art. Tie up loose ends so you can move forward with surety, knowing you're on the prosperous path and feeling refreshed and excited about the future. So yeah, so there definitely is a bit of a theme of closing out cycles there. So, and I mean, in a way, retrogrades can help with that as well. But hopefully that resonated for you guys. We'll wrap up there, and I'll see you all next month. All right, bye.